I'll pull up some stuff here. Let's see.
Is there any way to full screen this?
I think
For just
I think
$67,
so.
you
Hang
can
on
make
one
as many
second. Let me
videos as you
just-
want, and you never need to pick up a camera.
Okay. I just wanted to do. Can you make full screen? I think you can broaden the screen for sure. I haven't really been on that side of it yet. Oh, we're live. Let me tag you.
It's fine.
What?
Yeah.
I think there is your little picture in the big picture, right? Is that
Yeah,
what-
yeah. It's good though. It'll keep me
I
focused on
think
you.
that if you look at the bottom, where did I see that? Oh, there's a
Like double arrows.
wait a minute. There's a little arrow under a box to the left by our picture. I don't know if you see the same thing. Anyway, well,
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
we're all right. Yeah, let me just tag you real quick. Let's see what we got going here. We got 20 people already here. Let's see.
Okay.
Robert Evans. Yeah, we're live. Let's see. Here we go. Edit.
It's on the tape, but it's gonna.
Sweet.
Go. Robert Evans. Boom. All right. You're tagged. You're
Yeah, we're
tagged.
live. It's on the tape.
Yeah, just
Oh,
kill.
I'm tagged. Okay. Well, I
kill-
shared it, but
That's fine.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's a heck of a day, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. So much going on.
I
So
know.
much with these energies.
I know. Let's just jump right into it. I saw you doing something. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. You were live, and you were standing up, and it looked like you were doing kind of a light language mixed with conscious rap. Was it something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, so I was sitting down in the dark because the power's out in this room I'm in my basement. I got like a big cable here because it's like quiet and like I'm not going to disturb everyone else who's working and doing things in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I was down here in the middle of the night, and yeah, I've been exploring different ways to freestyle rap, different ways to express myself for years, and I have always wanted to bridge
Right.
meditation in with that
Right.
and activations in with that, dance in with that, all of these various different things that I already do. So that was kind of me just exploring that sort of realm, making videos, and it was so interesting because I've very much been wanting to put it out there, but I've been getting this kind of awareness coming up like, no, not quite yet. Like you kind of have to still embody like more of who you need to be for this thing to happen, like for yourself to be the presence needed. And now I'm starting to feel more green lights are starting to come kind of from my higher self and, more my divine feminine aspect. It's more just like, all right, let's put it out there. And that's been my awareness that would happen in April, really since the beginning of the year, really since last year. It was like April was just like the month for this year. So yeah, it's starting to unfold, and at the very end of March, and then I feel like I'm just going to ramp up into kind of this birthing of myself in April, and my birthday's in April. So it's
Oh, it is. Oh, cool. Well, yeah, and I forgot that part of it too because you were standing up and you were moving your arms, and I could see you were doing, that type of the movement as well. I've had this thing too, going way back, where I would see like, okay, I'm on the stage, you got a DJ behind you, and you incorporate, like what you're talking about, kind of a cross between, like a maybe some soul speaking, like preacher style, like just not preacher, but, just talking ad lib, and the movement of the dance, and then the freestyle, conscious kind of phrasing involved and that type of thing. And then maybe the ancient song, or, what people call light language, or that type of thing. But yeah. And you're going to have to come to Soulogy Fest, because one of the things that'll be different this time will be where we were last year in Sedona. We had to cap it at 10 o'clock. So we had people come in, and we had music or dance, and but we had to stop it, so it was only like went on for like maybe an hour and a half. but I think we'll be able to go into the night for anyone that wants to participate and just come up and do whatever they want to do. We did some of that at Soulogy Fest where we just had people come up and they just did different expressions, and we just, again, it was spontaneous, nothing was scheduled, and we just fit it in. But yeah, I think that would be really cool because there's a lot to be said for these non-traditional, sometimes non-verbal ways of expressing. And we see it all the time with people doing images and different types of expressions, using their voice, but not necessarily speaking words, not that that's left out. So I really feel like that's taken on a new dynamic, vibrations, resonance, toning, and all that stuff kind of coming back because it carries code too, right? And then just to kind of conclude that thought, I share posts every day in the Sology group, and I saw one, I think I shared it last night, and it said something like, if you're getting the feeling to dance, if you're getting the feeling to sing, go for it. Just don't worry about how well you do, or don't be so self-conscious about it in so many words. Just go for it. And I think that, at least from the work I've done over the last 10 years, even in my own right, and I've been privately working on stuff too, and I've had those feelings, and I don't normally have the feelings of being concerned about what it looks like or what it sounds like. The more time I spend not doing or not thinking about that stuff, the better off I feel. Not to say that it's better, but it's just the heart, the heart, the courage, or whatever you want to call it, to me is what carries the code, right?
Yeah. It's this is segueing into so many things that are unfolding for me right now. But very much this divine feminine surrender to the moment, right? What wants to flow through. I've noticed with myself that's really come online, particularly in the last month, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's been coming online for a while, but like very much this listening deeply, but also releasing whatever wants to come out of you is this way of flowing and like experiencing life as this magical kind of like blissful field that we are in, versus kind of like these filters of judgment of whatever, sort of thing that say, no, don't go there. Don't do that. Don't flow there. And, those things have really like affected so many adults and so many people, right? They've grown up and they've lost a lot of that childlike wonder, that ability to kind of like create whatever they want, to be able to go and hang out with friends. And, maybe we could like be actors in this sort of thing, like playing kind of acting out sort of roles. Maybe we could dance now to this music. Maybe we could, play rock star or something like that. And it's like, that's really what life is essentially.
Yeah.
It's just like, you just playing out whatever roles you want to play. But people forget that, and they get so rigid, and they think, oh, I cannot play in these certain roles because my voice doesn't sound like Madonna, or because I cannot dance like so-and-so, or I cannot, do this kind of like acting sort of thing in the same way as Will Smith. These names, right? These big figures that are put out in front of us to be like the people we're supposed to aspire to be. But it's like, in reality, no. We've all got it. We've all watched the TV. We all actually have quite a bit of understanding of these things just inherent inside of ourselves, right? From the things we've consumed, from living our lives, from just our culture, our DNA, our ancestors did around the campfire. And so it's kind of like, how can we bring this back online so that everyone else can experience it? And like, it's not just a few chosen people, because I go to these groups, these people who host these drum circles, these musical kind of people, and this is what they live. This is what they do. Their whole lives are just this incredible stuff. And it's like the vast majority, 99% of humanity, forgot that this is available. This is part of being human, and we can all do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of something I like to embody. And, obviously you too, like, how can we bring this back online to everyone? Like, if you want to go chant, if you want to go rap, if you want to dance, if you want to do anything, go freaking do it.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that maybe there's a third hashtag that's materializing at Sology, which would be not, where Nike says just do it, but it'd be just be it, you know.
Mm.
And because you're right, it is innate. It really is. And I've mentioned this a few times over the years because it made an impression on me early on when I got online, and that was this story I ran across where they did like a 5-year study in palliative care and hospice, you know, and they asked the people, you know, what would you do different? And the number one answer was essentially saying this. It was saying I would do the things that I want to do and not do the things that people expect me to do or don't expect me to do. So
That's my freaking life, man, because I went through that at a very young age, right? Like I went through immense physical hell, right? Having my whole life get ripped away from me. You know, obviously some of it's a story, but some of it's still very real. I still deal with medical things. I still have to deal with doctors. I still have like physical discomfort that's coming up like these days for me. And it came up really heavy last week, right? I actually got COVID. I also got
you did.
yeah, it was like yeah, last week, yeah. I had COVID all week. It was intense. I also had some like kind of Crohn's disease like reminders kind of coming up, and I was just in it, man, just like suffering. And it reminded me, right, of so much. And it was kind of like so much stuff broke down. I spent like every day either sleeping or in meditation, like deep, just in my octahedron, just doing work, just like clearing, 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 clearing. And it was epic the amount that I got done in that week as far as that's all concerned. Like it was like the universe was like, yo, you want to reach this threshold in April? All right, we're going to take you out of commission, F you up for a week, and you're just going to do all the work to get, you know. So I mean, I'm sure there's still more work, but like it was perfectly aligned. But a few years ago, I had that immensely. And then afterwards, the awareness that came in, I mean, there was no afterwards, right? I've just been flowing through it, healing it. But the awareness that came in was F all the bullshit. I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I'm going to do whatever the F I want, right? I'm going to go have fun and, you know, like actually become who I want. And I wasn't good at rap. I wasn't good at these things like in 2015. I freaking like, you know, I was, you know, rapping words that sounded cool, you know, and like trying to look cool. Like I didn't know what I was doing. It's been a gradual process building this over those last, I don't know, like 7-8 years. I don't, what is time? 2015. How long ago was that? But 7 years. But I knew as soon as I woke up, this is what I wanted. This is what I want to rap. I want to do this. I want to create. I want to live my freaking life to the fullest. And ever since then, it's just been the gradual realization of pursuing that, right? And, you know, people look at me, they're like, geez, like I look kind of crazy to my family sometimes, you know, especially now when I'm really putting this shit out there a bit more.
Welcome to the club.
I walk in the kitchen because I live in my parents' house right now, right? And that's a big thing too. I'm going to have to move out soon. But like, I walk in the kitchen and sometimes the eyeballs are like, yo, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But like it's all cool because like I don't need the validation from any of them. I've broken that down already. I've accepted them. They've accepted me to a degree, right? I mean, they didn't set out on the same journey. It's very hard for them, you know, sometimes to like understand this.
Right.
But like they aren't tripping about it too much. They're just kind of like, oh, okay, Rob's doing his weird thing, like whatever.
Yeah.
You know. And I'm over here like, no, I'm fucking going for it. Like,
yeah. But I bet you that was my experience anyway. That even though there's that seemingly like a disconnect with what you're doing, they're watching.
Oh yeah.
Like, what's he going to do next?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and also, I mean, it is ancestral healing, right? So I am healing, and it's so interesting because most people in these communities left their family or had to, you know, get further away from their family during like the depths of their healing journeys. Not most, a lot of people, right? That's a very common theme I've seen. With me, it was like because of the physical ailments I was going through, I as well as like me kind of like exploring and just being very blessed to have like parents who could just like kind of hold it down for me while I was figuring myself out. Like I got to be in the same place as them, like in proximity, going through these transformations, them witnessing that and them growing too. I mean, they've let so much go. They've done so much. And even though they didn't set out on the same journey, like my family is very different than we were a few years ago. Like we've been in this container kind of together in a way. And
Wow.
so, yeah. And I'm super impressed with them. Like all the stuff I was afraid of, I thought like, oh, they'd think something about me. They'd kick me out when I got fucking weird. It was like, nah, like it's all cool. It's all in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, inspiration is inspiration. Inspiration is inspirational frequencies, right? I'm sure that it works both ways. I mean, they've inspired you, and I'm sure that
Yeah.
it works both ways, even though you're bringing something to the table that's, say, non-traditional or unexpected. But now it's become you.
Yeah. I have an ostomy. I said that I've had surgeries and things. I've had men's health things that have gone on. So I have an ostomy right now. It is healing, and it will eventually heal, but it's making sounds. So that's why I'm bringing it up. It's like, this might be something you might hear throughout
What
the
is
show.
it? What is that? I don't even know what that is.
Um,
Is it like a gurgle or what is it?
yeah. So I had my large intestine removed
Okay.
in 2014. And then I had a bunch of surgeries to turn my small intestine into something like a large intestine, small and a large intestine, called a J pouch, where it kind of like creates like a reservoir like thing. And basically, so the stool could flow through there, and they connected everything down below. But the small intestine is not made to play large intestine.
Mm-hmm.
So, these things often fail and they often have issues. And mine was having issues over time. And doctors have never had all the answers for me. The only reason why I have these surgeries is because they run out of options, right? And they're like, well, now we got to start chopping pieces out of you because our drugs don't work. We don't understand these diseases well enough. And so I had like this, I've had this for the last few years, that J pouch, and was mostly healthy, but had periods where I would flare up and get very sick. And we thought it was Crohn's disease. Now I'm starting to think it was more so the disease was in the large intestine that got removed. But now all the issues with my body are more trauma from having to deal with having these weird surgeries, not having the energy flow right, having, all these things. And I'm kind of like learning how to heal on the fly with my ascension. But last year, or I guess, yeah, it was like, last year. So not 2021, but 2020 in the fall, I got very sick again, just got fucking rocked with Crohn's like symptoms. Had to go into the hospital for a couple weeks, and then they had to divert my small intestine up higher into a bag, an ostomy bag,
Okay.
so that basically the stool wouldn't flow to the sick area,
Right.
and that my organs could have time to kind of like heal. And I've been on a journey of basically just progressively healing all of my shit on all levels so that I can purify my whole body. That's how I see it, so that disease cannot exist in my body, and then we can reconnect these things, because my doctors don't have the answers. I'm off all drugs right now. They're just like, we don't know what the fuck to do with you.
Wow.
But I'm surviving. I'm doing well. I have kind of a different intestinal, physical makeup than most people. Yeah.
Wow. I can't hear anything. So, but that's intense. That's intense.
You can't hear me?
No, I couldn't hear what you were referring to. Like if there was some kind of sound coming out or something, I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah. And so you feel like April, I feel like that, since I think everybody pretty much concurs that something dramatic, another phase came into being post the 22nd of February. I felt like that March was going to open up I had just a feeling that that would happen, and now you're talking April. I feel like that. I don't know. With you, do you feel like that this is, whatever it is that's occurring, this powering up, I guess would be one way to say it. Do you feel like that you and we are powering up as we get into 2022?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like so a lot of people have talked about the birthing kind of aspect, and that's really resonated with me. Um, I feel like it's very much a completion of a lot of games for me. So a lot of things coming up in very rapid succession for me to deal with, even the physical stuff right now, right? Like this is like me coming up with a new opportunity of what to do here, right? And then I get to choose that opportunity. I get to choose to either alchemize that game into love or whatever I want it to be. And then from there, the soul comes online. And so, like, once you choose love, once you choose to love yourself fully in this place, and you choose to stop playing the games that are out of alignment with your soul, it's like software, right? Like the computer cannot run the soul through if there's a bunch of this other shit in the way, right? There's a bunch of like judgment, there's a bunch of fear, there's a bunch of stuff. But it's like now once you align with love, now the soul can flow through. Like this, the body is able to have it. And so we're just embodying more of our souls, right, are coming in. And as that happens, we get birthed into the world essentially as our divine selves, right? As the golden child, or, what people would say, this unified masculine and feminine, like divine self. And yeah, I see it happening very much for me. And I've just kind of had some dates around it that have correlated with April. Because, I've been building my rap and my ability to perform, my ability to do all these things for a long time. And so I've been kind of like, well, when are you going to let me go? Higher self, like, when is it time for me to go off? And it's like, okay, April. And so that's why I see it, but I have seen that correlate with other people in this community who are, either like Delia and a March, sort of like her, like really taking off right
Yeah,
now, or like other people I'm seeing who are really just
yeah,
activating,
yeah. It's happening. That's happening. Like doing this show, and I'm sure, like I say, people see it in me. But to be able to sit across from somebody like you, who we've done a few collaborations, and like Alexander the other day. I mean, you just see it. Yeah, I said Marita Shashan was on the other day. I mean, to see how different we all are, how we're becoming more comfortable in our own skin,
Yeah.
and that includes, you know, just be it, right? I mean, that includes that part of it. And I think that maybe I've always felt like that, or my understanding about Sology has always been, well, I mean, I don't know if everybody knows the story, but I think it was in 2008, Morgan put out an appeal. So this would have been, what, 7 years before we met. It would have been basically 4 years before I was given the name in the physical world. And she said, I'd love to be a part of a place where people can come and feel safe and supported and share their experiences and their skills and abilities and talents and so on. And I feel like that's occurring here as a small mirror of the universal energy that's taken hold throughout the earth. And I really feel like that's part of our natural nature, and it feels like it's starting to really, adhere, and people are, it's getting traction and it's expanding. And I think the only way that it works is for at an individual level, and then becomes two or more, for us to just be it and just go for it. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I have to be all of this to actually be able to, like, it's like, yes, you could theoretically do it. Like anyone could create a show, right? Anyone could start putting out artwork, but it's like, are you the actual thing? Are you embodied as that? Like, do you actually live that ethos that you're spreading out to the world? You know, do you actually like feel, do you know, feel that pathos, like, are you that, you know, versus like, are you something other than what you're saying, which is what the culture, you know, has really pushed, is this other, try and look pretty, try and look nice, try and have the car, have the fancy thing.
Right.
And it's like, no, now the real commodity in the new earth is soul. Now the new commodity is, I want the real shit. I
Right.
want the real truth. I want who you are. And if you can give that to me, right, it's just codes galore. Like, it's unlocking all kinds of things in each of us, and we get to play that childlike wonder that I was describing towards the beginning, which is like, we're just having a blast, having fun, making it up as we go, and, you know, learning, and, you know, everything, you know, it's that magical story versus like the fucking
Right. Yeah.
banging up against the wall.
It's the fun side of the full transparency that's coming on board more and more every day. Because
Yeah.
we think of that, we think, oh my God, people are going to know this, people are going to know that. I can't hold this back, this information. And you see a lot of people bravely
Yeah.
sharing this in Sology over the years and other platforms. But the fun side is to you know, and you're a good example of that, to like explore yourself and share your metamorphosis and share your own transformation through the expressions of what you're moved to do from the soul that you are and be, right? It's
Yeah. And
also
you'll be
like,
fine.
well, yeah, I mean, it's, yes. I mean, I say
Ultimately,
off,
you're safe.
yeah, that's, you know,
Yeah.
I've said for years that, you know, to me, another way to say I am souls, I'm not afraid to show my ass. And when I do these private recordings I've been working on, I, that's the first thing I'll say. They'll turn the music on me like, I am soul's another way of saying I'm not afraid to show my ass. And it's just me, right? It's just
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's, and that showing your ass is the dark night of the soul. It's part of the mechanics of this reality,
Yeah,
right? Like, if you want to expand into something great, you have to see what's in the way.
right.
So it's gonna come up to the surface. I was talking to, me and Delia were messaging a little bit before, and you know, we were talking about how all of a sudden we're flipping into like, sometimes, I mean, especially her, I see, but like people sometimes flip into like more, it's almost like Ty Hudnall. Like, every word that he says is very necessary.
Hmm.
He doesn't put out like more than what's needed
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, right? And I so appreciate that. It's taught me so much to watch because I'm such a talker, right? And so it's like, maybe sometimes I could cut back on some of the words and just say what needs to be said.
Yeah.
Um and gosh, what's the train of thought? Well, basically, I'm
Less
just
is
going to keep
more.
going with it.
Less is more.
Yeah, less is more, but also like, oh yeah, all right. So it's like, as I share, you know, these things, right? Each time I put out a post or something that's like distorted or something, this has been, you know, kind of my experience. If
Mm-hmm.
there's like a little distortion in there, right? Because I'm so tuned in, I'm so tapped in, I'm so feeling myself, I know. And I know when this other person is uncomfortable with it. I can feel the energy of, you know, someone in my community, someone in my family, someone that I know at an event who who feels some type of way about the thing that I said. And maybe it's real, maybe it's not real, but it's something going on inside of me. And that is my opportunity to now come into resolution with this thing that I have an issue with within myself. And when I resolve that, it takes me closer to where I'm going, to where I want to be, to being that person who is able to express, to being that person who is able to embody the wisdom needed to be the rapper person or whatever, right? Because these things came up. And I just see life as that. It's like, every single time you have an intention to become something greater, a greater version of yourself, you know, and that goalpost is constantly moving as we expand, right? Like, it's an infinite game, right? Like, what comes up now is the shit that's in the way,
Right.
is the stuff that's in the way.
Right.
And what I was saying with Delia was, and you know, oftentimes that expansion does come through the energetics of the earth coming in and pouring in and moving that goalpost for us. We are merging with those energies, or if we like soul merge with someone else, right? I soul merge with someone else. They give me massive downloads, massive expansions. But what comes up immediately is like, well, what comes up at first, it's like the energetic, awesome experience. And then after that, it's like, oh shit, here's all the stuff in the way.
Right.
And now I have to go through that faster dark night of the soul because I took on way more data. But then I clean that out, I clear that out, and I just activate and take off in this new me that has this embodied wisdom from this other person or from the energy of the sun or whatever, you know?
Do you, when you merge, as you've been merging, do you, are you conscious of what you're getting when it's occurring or shortly after it's occurring?
You know, there's always things that we're seeing in the merges, right? There's imagery. Um, Oftentimes those themes have to do with the energetics of what's going on, you know, with the collective, I'm noticing. Um, I mean, I've only done a few merges, but with people, I've been merging
Consciously.
quite a bit in the energetic space
Which
all this,
is,
like,
which is part of it. I mean, that's, you know, something that can be done. I mean, that's part of the Harioscamos, the merging is you can merge with whatever energy it is, whether it has a physical incarnation or not.
yeah, yeah. But so I'm getting, there is indications of what it's going to be, I guess, as well as indications of all kinds of other great stuff. But then it's almost like I did a soul merge with some people, and it was like the extraterrestrials showed us that they gave us like almost like a zip drive of the merge that we could come back to. It's almost like you do all this massive energetic work over however long this is, and then now you have this essentially uploaded into your system, and it's going to unfold over time, you know. And but I really see it as the in the way has to go for it to activate, you know. And that, I mean, that's where so many people get into the bypassy kind of like
Right.
talk shit on the triggers sort of thing. But it's like, no, like that is the in the way of the activation. And once you get past that, or not past it, once you integrate the truth of you and that the love, right, now you get the activation, right?
Yeah, I think that's another thing too that you're pointing out is having the awareness. Like when you put something out, and and say you put a post out, or even if it's an inspirational artistic expression, you know, to go back and look at it and see, you know, like look at into the nuances of it and see what, like you said, what's distorted, not in a critical way, but in an openness to
Yes.
actually bring a higher alignment just through another way. You know, you can go
Yep.
through a modality. I find that, you know, and I haven't done a lot, you know, I did about 100 what I called Soul Speak music videos, which were all different styles. But for me, there was something about flipping on the camera and just going for it and just putting it out there. Unlike I'm doing now because I'm actually scared. But that's good because that's that crap that's in front of me. So it's taken me to a place of what is that fear? Because I'm not a
Yeah.
fearful person. So then you start to find out, well, part of this is I'm exploring my expansion of my throat chakra, and part of it is a self consciousness. But somewhere inside of it all, what I'm trying to say is, if once I do it, be it alone or just do it one take, spontaneous, what the hell, go for it. There is an avenue and a path to higher alignment. Like it's a healing mechanism, you
Yeah.
know, no different than a modality and much more appealing to me, even though it's not always easy and it's a struggle to fight the voice of, you know, you're no good. You can't do that. It sounds horrible, whatever the case is, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was my experience with, you know, initially it was open mics, and then, you know, going to fire circles and places, and, you know, no one else is rapping. How am I, you know, going to fit in this, you know, container, and then going for it, and, you know, often receiving, you know, great validation from people around me who are excited for this sort of thing. But like, um, you know, having this like bridge that I need to cross, that is the leap of faith, and over the years I've learned, kind of like, I guess I kind of get tapped on the shoulder, right? It's like, the coach puts me in the game sort of thing. And I know when to hear when that indication is. So I'm not constantly posting, even though I could post a freestyle rap every single day for an hour long. Like there's nothing stopping me, but like, yeah, I listen to what is necessary in the field for me to share, but it's like once it's time for me to share, now there comes the leap of faith. And the more we do it, the more we build that within ourselves. And then it really is living life in a free flow, in a freestyle flow, in the energetics of that, where everything becomes opening doors quickly rather than standing in front of the door like, am I gonna fucking open this thing? Like, oh, what if they don't like me? You know, like, and so the more we can do it with anything, obviously, like the more the life flows. And rap is such a great way to do it. Singing is such a great way to do it. I'm not great at singing. I'm trying to activate these vocal cords and get them right. But yeah, that's. I can't hear you.
I muted for a second. I must have muted when I coughed. I think you're getting a nudge now.
I'm getting a nudge now. Okay.
Sure. Right. Here, I've got something here. I can do this. Hang on a second. How do you feel about this? Here we go. How's that? How's the music?
Let's go with it.
All right, you go.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Merging with the field of surrender. I recognize this guy. I think his name's NK Music. I rap on his beats all the time. But okay. So. Music is like merging in a way. I'm merging with the subtlety of the waves that want to be expressive in this moment on the page. And if I'm collaborating with these different musicians, yeah, I released all the resistance so we all can flow and so we all can get into this moment. And so we all can just open up your heart. It is something like you're floating on top of. Well, you don't know exactly what it is. It's more like, it's more life, it's more nice, it's more of what is inside, what you feel in that vibe, what you want to bring through. So all the people in the room can do it too. And that is just the goal. It's not to look super cool or be the person who's like, yo, look at my ego, I can flex in front of you and you can all look at me like I am king with the abs in the swimming pool, like when I was younger thinking that I was hot shit. No, it's not about this. Yeah, it's more about helping everybody lift. Yeah. Helping everybody lift. You're muted, Todd. I can't hear you. Audience hear you?
Here I am talking. I muted so you could go. Anyway, I'll forget about what I just said.
Yeah.
So I got this one. I got this one called Sometimes. Sometimes I'm human. Sometimes I live inside these shifts. It's not so easy to find myself when the next one starts before the last one lifts. Sometimes I'm soul, and sometimes I live outside these shifts. I know. They say surrender, let it go. The shadows bring the gold. And sometimes I'm both of them. There's no beginnings or ends. Then these hazy in-betweens, that spacey time-lost drift. Things start twisting. The more it keeps missing, the more I can see. It's confusing to me, 'cause I know I'm getting hit. Shifts diluting my fears, you know I'm getting lit. Space and time slips again. I wonder if I could lose my grip again. Healings from another shift within a shift. Help a brother, it's a heavy lift. See the sisters, they are the heaven's gifts. 0 pointing is my fix. Shadow works release me, trying my best to keep on healing so I can find the peace within me. The ones I've been seeking, divine revealing, finding my feelings every night I'm kneeling. What's life got next for me? Daytime's moving slow, the more I know, the less I know. Nighttime's moving fast, the less I know, the more I have. And sometimes I just want to explode. Sometimes I'm so damn fine. And then solar flares implode me, life begins to show me what it's like to get to know me. Mama always holds me. The universe told me, sending up past memories. I start acting out, projecting energy till I remember again. It's never them, it's always me. They say space don't come free. What they want to charge you and me. If being born comes free, why should dying cost anything? Makes no sense to my soul's sense, 'cause I know a soul is free. Takes no sense to no nonsense, 'cause I chose a God's dream. The world is dirty, we're getting clean. Conversations too wordy, lose substance in the streams. Fear the higher self exerting. What falls apart is purging. Free will's worthy, sacred beats are surging. Sacredness and sexuality. Life forces new energy. Makings of creativity. Life's insatiably free. Life's insatiably free. It's then we wonder, am I losing my mind? It's when we wonder, am I just here to die? It's then we wonder, distracting our minds. It's when we wonder, we're creating timelines. Thank you for letting me share that.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
for.
that was beautiful. That was so good, Todd.
So I think we'll just have to keep exploring this. I've come close to just late at night. Just how late do you stay up, by the way?
It's a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I'm up late. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm here. I haven't done it in a few days, but you know, I mean, I've got all these videos that I've recorded, and I haven't listened to really any of them. And the last couple of ones I did like you did, not as fluid. You know, I didn't have quite the rhyme going, but yeah, I think I'll hit you up, and I can actually do this, pull you in, and we can record it, or we could actually just go live and say, F it. Let's just go for it.
I'm down. I'm down for both, you know.
Yeah.
And I also want to share, I think that the incubation stage is important too, you know. So like honoring ourselves when it's like, maybe I don't want to put it out. That's because you're building something. You're like
Yeah.
birthing a baby, like
Yeah.
9 months, you know. And maybe it doesn't need to be 9 months, but like, you know, don't judge yourself for like if you aren't feeling like putting it out.
No, it's a good point. It's a really good
I don't
point.
put most of the stuff I make out. Like,
Well, you know, when I did this before, back in 2015 and 2016, the what did you call it a minute ago? The nudge.
yeah,
It was, I do it, and then because back then, not many of them were live because live wasn't something you could do on Facebook. It was just coming out, and so I would record it and then have to upload it. And so the message I got was just put it out. Just put it out. F what it sounds like. And some are okay and some aren't so good and some are real good and, you know, whatever. But now you're right. It's what's been happening. And again, I think this is as the individual goes, so goes the collective. And it's a lot like what you're talking about, which is it's almost like the baby, the golden child of me being born, and I'm getting to know it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, it's like, you know, having a child, which I've been involved with 6 of those, that's something that's still external, so I can get to know that. But this is a childlike energy that is actually me, and I don't know it. Just like the line in that Soul Speak, you know, I'm getting to know myself. So yeah, I appreciate you pointing that out because, yeah, you don't have to just flip it on and not that anything's wrong with it, but yeah, there's
well, it's
nothing wrong with
powerful
it.
to do that too. You know, it's
Mhm.
it's 2 different things. But yeah, like I wouldn't, like if I put everything I made out there, like it would just be a minefield of all kinds of triggers and all kinds of shit. Like, why not be gentle?
Right.
Like, and when I'm ready, I'll expand. And that's what I've been doing. I've been, you know, gradually becoming more ready, gradually putting things out there as I feel comfortable to do it. but like it doesn't need to be like ripping off the band-aid always, even though that is important. That is an important step in the journey for everyone.
Hmm.
But like you also can choose to honor yourself and be gentle and like
Yeah, that's the. I think the feminine, and I think this is something that we'll actually see in men and women. But the feminine, a lot of people have used the word soft on these shows lately, and even comments and messages to me talking about the guest or even myself. But that softness, it's so when you think of the feminine energy moving in, it's certainly flow. It's certainly not straight lines. It's a creativity, but it's also that allowance, that softness towards yourself. That take it easy on yourself, and you don't have to, because the patriarchal, it's like rush, 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 rush. But the feminine has that infinite patience and
yeah.
understanding and nurturing. I think is another key in discovering who the new golden child energy of us is, right?
Yeah. And, time is flowing so much faster than it ever has now. So, of course, we can expand and grow exponentially fast now with anything that we do. But, like, so if you wanted, there is some wisdom to the way some things in the old world, the way that they worked, right? If you wanted to go get a high level job, right, you would have to put in some work, right? You would have to go to college, right? Or you would have to learn, right, a trade, a skill, things like that, right? It's like, yes, of course, people were flowing towards things that they didn't want to do. And so that was hurting their soul and they thought that they had to. And that's where all the trauma and all the, stuff that we have to clear comes. But like, I mean, a lot of that, right? But like, also, it makes sense that if you want to be some type of artist, if you want to be some type of whatever person, if you want to have that relationship with the divine person who is your perfect whatever, or perfect, right? But like the person who you're really going to align with, right? It's going to take time for you to earn that, for you to become the person who can have that thing. And I feel like so many people, it's so easy to either get kind of like entitled and think like I should just do it,
Mm-hmm.
or like I should just have it, or it's so easy to like think like, oh no, there are certain avenues that's just not a thing in. That's only true when it comes to normal real world's, doctor, blah, blah, blah. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a businessman, whatever. But it's like, no, that's for every single thing in life.
True.
And so it's
Yeah.
like, if I want to be a rapper, it might take me 7 years. It
Hmm.
might take me 8 years. And why is that wrong? There's nothing wrong with that. And if I want to be a dancer, if I want to be anything, but with the speed up of time, this is actually such a great time to start things, because it's like you're actually going to download way more. And if you do soul merging, gosh, like the amount that you can speed up exponentially with all of this anyway. And so it's like, because you can soul merge with the people who have these things embodied in certain
Right.
senses.
Right.
And so it's like we can do that faster now than we ever could, but it also still, give yourself space to grow.
Yeah.
Give yourself space to become who you want to be, versus like either trying to force it into something you don't want to be, or not giving yourself space and being like, I failed. Oh no. Like it's dude, like what?
I
No,
asked.
life is long. Live a long life.
I asked Jamie Williams, our first guest today. What is the golden child energy? And as I'm listening to you, I realized that obviously we've been shucking identities, shedding identities, and so if you look at all the things that we thought we were, they're very finite. Like they are the finished product. I go to school, I get a degree, I become this particular profession, and that's the end of the road. Where to me now, as I'm listening to you and experiencing you, the golden child energy is an infinite field, and the finished product is in the present moment, whatever is delivered when you show up in that moment, right? I mean, it's a constant refinement, which is essentially and really in reality the journey of the soul. And, you know, so
It's what we came for.
that's what we came for, man. It's time to party. Let our
Yeah.
hair down. You better get your ass over here to the Sology Fest. We'll have a good time. And
Oh, of course. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's going to be a real special thing. It's a special year. 22 obviously is a huge, and says a lot. You know, it says a lot about. I guess you would say, you know, sacred marriage energy, divine union energy, Trinity energy, and collaboration, creativity, feminine. I mean, there's just so many things pointing to this being a really great experience, just like this last hour has been. We're going to play. We're going to get off, and we're going to do what we know so far is the last Franco Friday. We don't know what could happen down the road.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, we have I don't say a lost tape, but I guess it was kind of a lost tape. It was a private conversation that Franco and I had on September the 12th of 2021, about 10 days before our last show and about 5 weeks before he transitioned. So I'm going to jump off real quick and just make some tea and then come back on. And we're going to play that. It's about an hour and a half. I would encourage anybody, if you're not doing anything, to, you know, share that space with us. If not, you can always catch it on replay on one of the platforms. Robert, thanks a lot for coming in. I'll be definitely reaching out to you and see if I can connect with you so we can play either privately or otherwise.
Yeah. And, you know, I just want to say I love you. I love you all, the whole Soulogy community. Yeah, I'm so grateful to be connected to this community in this field. So thank you.
Thank you. Love you, brother. You take care. And